Now, my style of trading, I call the golden ticket trading strategy. And it starts by listening to what the market's telling us. What is the market telling us? So first, let's look at the SPY. So this is the S&P 500 today. Now, we have the 10 actually over the 20. If we zoom all the way in, the 10 is over the 20. 10 is over the 20 right here. We see this, and that occurred yesterday. Now, at the time I made my trade yesterday, price was over the 50. There was a lot of contention in the Discord yesterday. What is Chris doing? How could he put on a trade yesterday? The 50 was nowhere close to being crossed. Actually, at the time it was. It totally was. You can even see how it wicked over right there. But today, with the market coming down some, it is not. So I will not be adding any new trades. No way. I did say if the 1020 crossed back today, I would go back to flat. Flat meaning having no trades on. I still have one trade on an AT&T, and I'm going to keep it on. I don't see a reason to take it off right now, especially since we're in between this bullish bearish trend right here. We're kind of in the middle at the moment. I'm not concerned, but if it did trend back to bearish, I'm out. I'm totally out. I have no reason to keep this trade. So let's continue on. The market is actually in betwixt bullish and bearish right now. More bullish than it is bearish, but it's in betwixt those 2 points. So I won't be adding any new trades, but we'll continue on and see what we can find. Next, we want to look at the market breadth. Now, couple notes on market breadth here. Market breadth is measuring how many stocks are on our bull list. How many stocks have a buy signal. So if we look at the watch list today, we can see 117 stocks have buy signals today, like BV, CECO, CNA, CSGS, ENSG, FDS, Fox A, HCA, HLF, Herbalife. Okay. 61 have sell signals today. Now, what does that mean to you? That means that we're getting more buy signals today, and that's what I want to see. Now, after this reaches 75%, this is where I start to get very, very cautious. And my rule is I will look to enter trades as long as it continues up. Once it peaks and clicks back down, so 76, 77, 78, back to 77, that is I don't put on any new trades. That is my halt trading until we see the cycle start reverse back up. Also, on the sectors, so AT&T is in the communication sector. If the sector also reverses or turns bearish in any way, shape, or form, I then close everything in that sector. So if I had multiple trades on and they were all in different sectors, if the sector breadth peaks and comes back and the market breadth peaks and comes back, I close all positions. I abandon ship. So I don't just make these rules up. I have it written down so I know what to do. If it goes over 75, only enter if breadth continues moving up. Once it goes over 75, halt trading, halt new trades. And let me put that actually, halt new trades. That makes a little bit more sense as you read this. So what we have here is we have a buy signal on the SPY. We have the market trend is bullish-ish, not quite there, not quite there. We've got market breadth that's bullish and sector breadths on pretty much everything is bullish, right? Yeah, everything has bullish market breadth right now, which is great. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where Outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and it's free. Hey, don't forget outlierdeal.com. Over at outlierdeal.com, that actually expires this Friday. You have the chance to win a free year of Outlier and $1,000. How does that sound? We already have 12,300 entries. It ends tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Thursday night. The winner will be announced on Friday. How cool is that? So all we ask is that you share a couple things to help us spread the good news that Outlier 3.0 is now live. And the first winner, the grand prize is $1,000 cash and a free year of Outlier 3.0. First runner-up gets $200 worth of merch and my 5 favorite trading book bundle. Second runner-up gets $150 worth of merch and my 5 favorite trading book bundle. And don't forget, that does end tomorrow night. So I'm super, super stoked about that. Let me do this. I want to start answering a couple of questions, and then I want to do today's member highlight because I saw some really, really great things going on in Discord. So to Sean's point, would you take the trade by buying the shares instead of the options? So personally, I wouldn't. And that's just me because I like the leverage, right? And let's discuss this using the position size calculator. And I'll show you why I like it so much. Position size calculator. Pull this over here. Okay, make this more bigger. So I've got T-Mobile, or not T-Mobile, but AT&T loaded up in RSG. So looking at the two, RSG's ATR is 4.54. AT&T's ATR is 75 cents. Let me make this even bigger here. Now, if I were to use my position sizing formula, which is what's in here, takes your account balance multiplied by the risk you're willing to take in your portfolio, and then it divides by 2 times the ATR to give you the number of shares. Between these 2 points, you could take 3,300 AT&T shares or 551 RSG shares or 5% on a $100,000 account. Now, of course, your total risk is less than that, and that's because I would get out at half an ATR. But here's the thing. If I took 551 shares times $248, that would be 136% of my portfolio. That would be 136% of my portfolio, which sounds impossible. Chris, what are you even talking about? How can you tell somebody this is the right position size? Well, let's back that up. Let's back up the train real quick. 100,000 times 5% is $5,000. The difference in the current price minus the half ATR. So if we're wrong, we're going to give it half an ATR to tell us if we're wrong, and that's okay, is 245. So the difference between here to here is only whatever half of 454 is. 4.54 times, or divided by 2. So $2.27. That's the difference between here and here. I'm only going to give it $2.27 to find out if I'm right. And I'm doing that on 551 shares, which the math comes to $1,250. It's by design supposed to be less than this here. Now, what I'm telling you is you could have a trade that's bigger than your entire portfolio, but if you get out at half an ATR, if that's the amount of risk you're taking, you're only risking $1,250. It's a very, very different thing to look at it from risk perspective versus portfolio size perspective. And that's why I added these columns here recently. Now, I would not trade RSG on the shares because why would I? If I have to put up 136% for the same, no way. So let's go look at RSG here. Now, this is not super liquid, but this one's not bad. 265. This is $1.30 wide right now. So that breaks my rule of 50 cents. But let's say, for example, that I wanted to buy it and I spent $11.30 per option contract. So $11.30. Yeah. 1.35%. So that means I would take N10. So that's, oh, hang on. That formula is off. Sorry, my bad. Copy that down. There we go. 6.78%. So that takes the option size, which is this value divided by 80, times the value of the option price right now at 11.30. 6%. 6% of my account to trade it with options versus 136% of my account to trade it with shares. So I'm going to copy this formula down before I forget. I have to make an edit right now. It'll drive me crazy. If A5 equals blank, then give me blank. Otherwise, give me that formula. Oh no, A5 equals blank. Got a comma. There we go. Now that should look better. Now, of course, you can download this from our Discord over in the VIP Investors Toolkit. It's the portfolio position sizing tool. And so to answer Sean's question in a long-winded way, no, I would not take it because it would be significantly more capital to put up versus 6% of my account, 136%. So it's a fantastic question. Graham says, options make more sense in my opinion, but they're a lot more complicated for sure. We'll need a lot of support from Chris to overcome the various challenges. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Andy, I just recently learned, I don't know if you guys know this, but I just recently learned that Rolex sells a watch that is nicknamed Batman. So I was like, I'm Batman? I'm Batman? Wait, how much does that watch cost? I'm Batman? But it's good to see you guys. Okay. Mark says, can you address the exit strategy when using options, sell to close? So let's do this, Mark. Let me go through what I would do today. And then we can talk about exactly where my exit points will be. But before we do that, let's look at today's member highlights. And this is really cool. This is why I wanted to showcase this real quick. Share your big wins section in the Discord. There were a couple that really stood out to me. So Gustavo says, I want to share my win with Outlier at 30% in less than 3 hours. So it looks like he traded HIMS and did outstanding. So congratulations, Gustavo. Then Patriciamo says, I checked back about how the 10-20-50 EMA applies to Bitcoin. I went back 5 years and found it paid 4 times what Bitcoin buy and hold paid. I bought it last Monday and sold today because the volume was low. There wasn't a lot of resistance, and he made a cool 5.7%. Dude. So what he's talking about here is the 10 over 20 price over the 50. This is what I call the outlier trend template, and it applies to everything. It is universal. It applies on a 1 minute chart, a 1 hour chart, a 1 day chart, a 1 month chart, a 1 year chart. Doesn't matter. It applies to everything every time because it's just math. So when your 10 is under your 20 and price is under your 50, that is a bearish trend. You can see that right here. When the 10 is over the 20 and price is over the 50, that's a bullish trend. You can see it right here. It is a mathematical fact that you cannot move in a bullish direction without those things happen. You cannot move in a bearish direction without those things happening. So that is so cool. Thank you for sharing that. And then Aussie Ian, usually he's here in the afternoons. Hopefully Aussie Ian's here. Man, how good are those half ATR exit signals? That half ATR we were just talking about in the position size calculator. How good are those? This is on an Aussie stock. But he says it saved him from a 15% loss in a single day. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Outlier. No, thank you, Aussie Ian. I hope that works. I hope that works for you. Okay, let's continue on here. So be sure to share your stories in the Discord. And of course, the first rule of Outlier is you tell everybody about Outlier and you hit the like button. So back to trading in the Outlier trading room. What is Outlier and how does it work? Old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the outlier move happens. And if you're ready to save time, make money, start winning with less risk, head on over to outlier.com, grab the annual pass for just 82 cents a day. That's 64% off the regular monthly price. And if you're on the monthly plan, you can save 64% just by clicking that one button right there, just that one button. So moving on to the next step, for me, the next step, you may not have seen the slide before, is to reduce risk before adding new trades. I will not take a trade until I've already reviewed the existing trades that I have on. So reduce risk before adding new trades. So of course, always remember when you put on a trade, do not have expectations for the trade. Do not set profit targets. Just have a plan to get out when one of your exit signals gets hit. Meaning, if I bought the stock at 50, I cannot tell the stock it has to go to 60. I don't actually know where it's going to go. But I do know I will have an exit signal at some point to get out. These are my exit signals. If the 10 EMA, my trailing stop, let's do this, is broken, or the half ATR, those are my trailing stop and stop loss entry or exit points right there. Now an order block, I'll show you what that is in just a moment, or the Outlier Heatmap stalling. So let's go through each one of these. So 10 EMA, and I'm in AT&T. So let's go to AT&T, which funny enough, if you look over here at this little watch list I created of different YouTuber stocks, like SMCI down 13% today, SoFi, oh my gosh, SoFi bros can't catch a break, can they? Tesla down 3% today. If we look at this list, there's AMD of all names. AMD is up slightly. Coca-Cola is up slightly. Palantir is up, and AT&T is up. AT&T is the one stock that I'm in right now. So I got in yesterday at 27.31. My half ATR was somewhere down here, but that's too much risk for me. Half ATR is below the 10 EMA. So once the EMA crosses over the half ATR, I then move my stop up. To be following the 10 EMA as my trailing stop. Now, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't have to know. But I know if it closes underneath the 10 EMA at this point, I will get out. In fact, let me rewrite this one right here. That's not what I want. I want to edit that. We're still getting used to TradingView. Hang on. There we go. 10 EMA. Cool. So no issues in that regard. There are no order blocks ahead of this. Let me show you what an order block looks like. All right, Tesla. Let me remove all drawings. Tesla has order blocks up here. And order blocks work as support and resistance. And in this case, if it's overhead, that would be resistance. And I wouldn't be putting on a trade if it's going to be running up into resistance. So AT&T, I do not have a reason to exit yet. There are no order blocks. Now, you'll see this note up here, selling the strength at 63 plus. What does that mean? If I go into the Outlier dashboard, I like to put on a stock on the day that it has the buy signal. The buy signal came when it was at 53.18 on the fear and greed. So 53 out of 100. Today it's at 53.44. So it's slightly higher. It's slightly higher. That's what I want to see. The sector is getting less fearful, moving towards greed. The stock bottomed on its fear and is now moving higher up into greed. And that's what we're looking for. So for me, I like a 10-point spread if it's between 50 and 75. So that's why I have written on the chart, exit at 63, selling to strength at 63. And I don't know when that'll happen. But I won't be looking to add any new trades today because the SPY is not cooperating. But what I do want to do is I want to look at some trades that you want to look at, right? So in the chat, I've got 10 minutes. I want to look at your chart. So put them in the chat. I want you to put the name of a stock you want to look at. And if you're looking at it long, the name of the stock you're looking at and putting it short, like AMD long, Google short, NVIDIA long, whatever, go for it. I want to look at your charts. Nico asks, so you do not consider order blocks on a higher time frame like weekly? I don't even look at it. And so that's a great question. That's a great question, Nico. I only look at my time frame. I don't look at my time frame. There's so much noise, right? I could be looking at the 5 minutes. I could be looking at the 1 hours. I could be looking at the weeklies or the monthlies, right? I just look at my time frame, and that time frame is daily for me. Manny says, how many Outlier University classes will there be if we don't get in the first time? Dude, we are planning to make this a permanent thing. So 9 weeks on, 3 weeks off, repeated throughout history. That is the plan. And it's storming like crazy outside. So if the internet just turns off, this is how it's going to be. Ryan says, I have the same question. On Tradier, the choices are close at bid, close at market, close at ask, and close at market. Just sell to close. So sell to close. Don't do anything at market. You go in and you go limit order. Do not let that be an option. Do not let market be an option. You will get filled at the very next price. And that may not be anywhere close to what you want. So you would do sell to close, sell close, limit, whatever that limit price you want it to be. Because when you put that limit price on there, you say this price or better. If you put market, just get me out. And it honestly could be, I have been absolutely monkey hammered, bent over a donkey monkey hammered, because I wanted to get out of a stock so bad that I was like, market order, just get me out. And I was so pissed. I was beyond pissed. I was like, I cannot believe that this is the fill price you gave me. Dave, would you, by the way, Dave, you're awesome. Dave is like one of the coolest people ever in our Discord. Would you consider T a heat map stall? It's 53.18, 53.44 today. I would consider it a stall based on being not able to achieve a whole number. What are your thoughts? Honestly, this is why I asked Mahesh for 2 decimal places, specifically for this. So for this case, this is still going up to me. But you know what, Dave? What's important is you following your trading plan. For me, it's not a stall, but for you, it is, and that's okay. Just follow your trading plan. According to Fight Club, you are Brad Pitt, and Mahesh has said Norton. That's right. Can't you tell that I'm Brad Pitt, right? Can't you tell? David, you saved me thousands of dollars. I used to listen to the other jokers on YouTube and lost thousands. Now I'm trading with a true strategy that I feel confident in. David, you are so welcome. David, do me a favor. The way that you can pay me back is by telling everybody you know, by telling every single person that you can get a hold of how much I'm helping you. Okay. Squat Toast wants to look at RSI long. All right, Squat Toast. Oh, wait. I don't want to do it here. I want to do it over here. I want to do it in Outlier so we can see it better. See all the data. RSI. Okay, I got 7 minutes. I will do my very best to get through all these with you guys. So currently sitting on a buy signal. See that? It is within an uptrend right here with the 10-20 over the 50. Outlier shows an order block right here, so do be aware. We are going to be amending the order block code. I think Rick Warfish had a better code than what we have in the moment for Outlier. In fact, let me turn that off for now until we update the code. that at? Hang on. Here we go. I'm just going to disable them temporarily. Okay, so you got your buy signal here, 10, 20, 50 is pointing north. Now, if we look at the fear and greed on RSI, it's been getting more fearful. 40, 50, 40, 17, 39, 92. So the fear, while it's slowing down its acceleration in fear, it is still getting a little bit more fearful. Now, the discretionary sector, however, is getting less fearful, moving towards the greed. And then this is really cool here. We can pop this open. So RSI is still sitting in fear, where XLY, the discretionary sector, is sitting in the neutral. So yeah, RSI looks, I mean, it's okay. You got your 10, 20, 50 right here. It looks like we have earnings. Ooh, okay. We have earnings after the market close. I'm going to tell you this right now before going into all the deepness. I would never trade earnings. If I can avoid it, I don't trade earnings ever. So I would be getting out of the trade, but you do you, my friend. You do you. Jean-Louis wants to look at Hershey Long, HSY. Hershey Long. All right. So first, Jean-Louis, we are sitting on a downtrend in Hershey with a sell signal. The sector is getting more greedy. That's good. Hershey itself looks like it's flatlined in 55, 54 for several days now, but it's getting less greedy. So I don't love Hershey Long. I don't love Hershey Long. Yeah, plus it's stacked with order blocks in both directions. I don't love Hershey Long. I don't love this one at all. Let's look at Nico, HWM. By the way, I'm not picking anything in particular on here. I'm just scrolling through here and grabbing one at random. Dave, you are so welcome, my friend. You are such a rock star. All right, we're looking on HWM. We turn off those order blocks again. There we go. We can see our 10, 20, 50s cross north. The green overlay shows you with a glance that is in an uptrend right now. And we can see the fear and greed moving away from fear towards greed. That's what we're looking for right here. So is the sector and the industrials. So that's looking sharp. I like that. And then we go over here to HSM, or what was it? What was HSM? It was HWM. HWM. And look at that. On top of this order block, it recently broke this order block. That's why it's terminated right there. But it does have earnings tomorrow morning before market open. My dude, you do you, but I'm not owning anything through earnings. Otherwise, it looks great. Hey, Marin, what's up? Fort Worth lost power for a few minutes. Had to reboot everything. Marin, bro, we got to hang some time. We're going to do a DFW meetup at some point. I believe it. Let's see. Oh, somebody was asking about Wingstop earlier. Let's do Wing right now from Luke and someone else. I forget. Apologies for not remembering the other person. Wingstop, also a DFW based location. DFW based headquarters here. Actually, I drove by their headquarters one day and it was like a strip mall. I was like, what? Wingstop's headquarters are right there? That was very unimpressive. Your wings are impressive, but your headquarters was not. All right, so we don't have that crossover yet, 10, 20, 50. We do have more fear, which may have bottomed. Went from 35, 34 and a half, 34, 11, 34, 31. So it may have bottomed right here. Discretionary getting less fearful. In fact, the breadth in discretionary has been going up very high as well, but it just doesn't have a great trend setup just yet. Let me look over here on Wing. Holy moly. Okay, so Wing had earnings this morning, and it looks like everybody wants to get some Wingstop. Now, I'm telling you, as I'm 38, I'm 39 now. To my children, I'm an old man. I can't eat fried food anymore. I don't know what it is. I like fried chicken just absolutely destroys me these days. So I haven't been to Wingstop in ages. And that used to be something me and my boys, I have two boys, one's 9, one's 10 and 13. We used to eat the mess out of some Wingstop, but old man can't handle it in his tummy anymore. I hate it. But I would not hate Wingstop at this point. Let's go over the reasons why. Again, the 10, 20, 50 is now crossed. Like today is different because this updates overnight every day. It's getting a little bit less fearful. This is probably going to show a lot more greed tomorrow. The sector's looking good. And you know what? It's still sitting on a sell signal. Maybe that'll reverse by tomorrow. But up 13%. Oh, I am actually out of time. I thought I had more time. So listen, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, be sure you click on one of these videos up here to watch more, and I will see you on tomorrow morning's live stream.